I'll show you. This is for free. I use these all the time. These are made by Catalyst. Princeton makes them. They're Princeton Catalyst. This is called a wedge, and this is called a blade. And I use these all the time. And I love them. I almost never use brushes. The only time I use brushes is for little detail stuff. Yay, Diana's planning to come in October. So, okay, Amazon. Pam, send me a link for what you got because I would love to see what it is. All right, I'm going to get back at it. So here's a rule. A rule. No, it's not really a rule. But a lot of people say it's a rule. I know y'all can't see me. I just want you to be able to see the canvas. So when you're adding elements to an artwork, there's a school of thought that says you should always add them in odd numbers. And I don't know that that's really a rule. You can do whatever you want. But I really prefer it for some reason. I don't like to add 2s, 4s, and 6s. I want it to be 3s, 5s, and 7s when I add elements. It just feels more balanced to me. It makes more sense to me to do it that way. So I've got 5 of those pieces on there. I'm going to let it sit for a minute. I'm going to let y'all see this up a little closer. So... that's where we are right now. It's ugly, ugly, ugly. It's so ugly, y'all. I don't care. That's all right. Everything has an ugly stage, right? All of our art has an ugly stage. So, okay. All right, Pam just gave us a link for those brushes. Lynn is asking, do you feel like the canvas that has stretch and bounce to it aids in having less control? I almost always work on wood panels because they're so sturdy and can take a lot of scraping and abuse. I don't know. I don't work on wood panels very much, Lynn. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that the bounciness or the stretchiness makes a difference for me. What I do know is that I am more... I work more in a more controlled manner. Maybe I'll get over here so you don't see me. I work in a more controlled manner on canvas than I do on paper. Because it feels more precious. If you've been in my class, you've heard me talk about that. Canvas just feels so much more precious. So I let go of control a whole lot more if I'm working on a piece of paper. And that's where the series of paintings on the architectural drawings came from. They're big, big old pieces of paper. And I spread them out on a table and just go to town on them. And it's very, very freeing. So I recommend doing that if you're having a hard time, Cecilia. If you're having a hard time letting go of control, get a big piece of paper and just mess it up. And do that over and over again. And I have to, sometimes when I am working on a collection or something, if I'm too tight in what I'm trying to do or what I want the collection to look like, I have to take a break and go do something a little crazier. I'll do something completely different, like make paper beads or, work on something for jewelry. Or I'll, go work on a giant piece of paper. So, all right. Yeah, odd numbers are supposed to be more aesthetically pleasing. Yeah, Pam says odd numbers. Cecilia likes my painting. Thank you. It's not there yet, but thank y'all. It's getting there. I have no idea what I'm going to do next. Anything can happen. Diane says, I struggle with losing a beautiful spot in the painting, so I tend to hesitate and not move forward. Yes, that is not unusual, Diane, and I struggle with that sometimes too, but I've kind of just gotten myself to the place where I just do it anyhow, because I trust the Holy Spirit. I trust that as I'm working, it's like life, right? We have beautiful spots in our life, but we have to move on. We can't stay in those spots. We have to move on, and sometimes the next thing that we move on to is not as beautiful, but we know that in the end, the story has a good ending, right? So it's kind of like that. I just kind of trust that if I feel like I'm supposed to keep moving and cover it over, I can do that. And in the end, it'll be even more beautiful. It'll be even more spectacular. So that's the only thing I can tell you is really, for that, I would recommend, like I was talking about earlier, work on paper, work on something that's not precious to you, that, rather than a big canvas that you spend a lot of money on, work on something that doesn't feel precious to you. And then when you get to that point where this looks really, really good and I don't want to lose it, completely obliterate it and just do that over and over again. Practice doing that so you can let go of that, because you have to, you can't stay in the same spot forever. So I recommend, just ruin it. Just ruin it and move on. Cover it over and move on. Yeah. Lynn said the same thing. You can feel like you're going to move forward and regret it. Don't regret it. Moving forward is always a good thing. And don't get frustrated too when you cover that over and you move forward and it looks awful. Somebody's getting ready to walk in here, so I'm going to have to stop. Don't regret it. Just keep moving, because I promise you it's going to get better in the end. Oh, it's Faye. Hey, Faye. I'm on live. Faye is here to paint. She's one of our artists too. So, which color, Lynn, which color are you talking about? No, there's no such thing as salvaging, Lynn. You're always creating. It's always creating. Mary, it is deli paper. You can use any kind of paper you want, except toilet paper. I would not recommend using toilet paper for collage. I've used paper towels, though, because when I use paper towels to clean brushes and stuff, they sometimes look really, really good. Anne had to leave for a phone call. That's okay. You're going to be in here on Saturday, so it's okay. And I'm going to be doing this again. Thank you, Diane. Yeah, you can't always stay, like, right where, you can't stay in a place just because it's comfortable and feels good to you. You have to move forward. So you got to do that in life, and you got to do that in your art, too. The blue paper. Yeah, there's that's deli paper, Lynn. I don't remember if we used that. I know we used it in, I can't remember which classes I used it in at the gathering. But yeah, it's deli paper, and I just paint on it with acrylics, and then use that for collage. So, okay, I'm going to keep painting for a little bit, and I'll probably stay on for a little while longer, and then I'll pop off, because I can't show y'all everything, can I? All right. You can see there's kind of a focal point starting to develop in the painting. So that, yes, I work intuitively, but I'm also watching for good design as I go. And I always recommend that you start with the intuition, with the listening and responding, listening for how you're being led in the painting. I listen for the Holy Spirit. I listen for God to tell me this way, that way, grab that color, whatever. And it really is just like that. Although, okay, let me back that up. It's not like I hear in my head, thou shalt now use orange. It's not like that. It's just, I trust that when I reach for it and it feels right in my hand, that's where I'm supposed to go with it. When I grab this tool and it feels right in my hand, that's where I'm supposed to go with it. When I look at the canvas and decide to put it here or here, that's how I'm supposed to go with it. I just trust that because I'm filling myself up and I know that I'm being led in the way that I'm supposed to go. So, and as I do that, as you practice that painting or creating in that manner, then the skill starts to come through. And maybe like if you're a trained artist and you know about ratios and focal points and good elements of design and color theory and things like that, all of that's really good stuff to know. If you already know that stuff, that's fantastic, but you need to break out of that and try being more intuitive and see how it develops. If you don't know any of that stuff, that's okay. Start anyhow, because a lot of that will develop as you paint, as you work, and as you start to develop your style and start to develop your skill. And then if you feel like you need to go back and learn about elements of design and different I can't think of what I'm trying to say. There are different design structures that you can make in a painting. Somebody come up with the word for me. So like you can make a cross structure type or horizontal or vertical or constellation. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You can learn that stuff later on, but a lot of it will start to come to you intuitively if you're listening. If you're listening and you're responding, a lot of it will come to you naturally. Hey, Judy, is it a good morning in Alaska? Tell me, it's winter there. Is this the time of the year when it's darker or lighter? I want to know. And I would wonder how that would affect me. Be interesting to see how that would be. Yes, Cecilia, it does make the paintings more alive as you're listening and responding. Yes, composition, elements of composition or different types of composition. All that stuff starts to come to you intuitively or naturally as you develop your skill, as you paint with freedom. That stuff will come later on. So, hi, Dana. I hope it's nice and warm down your way. It's cold up here. Okay, so anyhow, what I was talking about is as I've been working, without thinking about it, I've developed a focal point here. So I'm going to work with that now and work out from that place and, start to define it even more, but then work out from that place and try to frame it and bring the visual into that spot. So, all right, I'm going to stop y'all as we're getting to when the gallery's going to start to be busy. And Faye's here getting ready to paint, and we've got Rich Flanagan is coming in to do a private pastel drawing lesson later this afternoon. So we got a lot of stuff going on, and I'm going to stop right now with this. But hey, I will tell you that in February, if you'll check my Facebook page, if you want to learn how to do this, I'm teaching a full day workshop. So that's available to you if you want to come in and visit. So love y'all. And I will be back on. Hey, I'm going to have some big announcements about this group coming up. I'm starting to think about how to structure it and how to be a little bit more, have a little bit better structure, but also make it work better for me too. So it's going to be really, really good. So just stay tuned and I will let you know as I start to develop what that's going to look like. But I thank y'all for watching and I will pop back on soon. Love ya.